Okay, so today is March the 16th, isn't it? Okay. Sometimes, sometimes I'm not picking that right, but today is not one of those days. And as usual, I will start with a prayer. And today I put in the format like an envelope, like a letter, because when I was looking at the picture, looking for pictures for another presentation that I'm preparing for the Spirit Center, I found this one over here. And I had no idea that the Brazilian post office, they issued this stamp in celebration, like a recognition to Chico Xavier. So I thought it was so neat. In 2010, there was an issue, a new stamp from the Brazilian post office. I thought it was awesome. You know, it's really a very nice way to recognize his work and celebrate him and his legacy. So, as usual, we start with a prayer, and I volunteer myself to do it. So just let's close our eyes and calm down our thoughts, our feelings, try to be relaxed, and invite our mentors, the mentors of this group, the mentors of our families, the higher beings, and welcome them and welcome Tatiani to be here with us today. Our source in the spiritual realm, we celebrate your presence with us here and now. Let us be guided by unconditional love and be your service for the highest good. We thank you for the abundance we receive every day. And please forgive our mistakes and forgive also those who cause us difficulties. Help us to fulfill our purpose in this world. Uphold our values and be understanding and compassionate. We ask you to guide and protect our lives and those of our family members, as well as our friends. We ask you to inspire our speaker of the day, Tatiani, who so graciously accepted our invitation. May her family be protected by the higher beings, and may Tatiani be inspired with words of wisdom today, bringing us some light, understanding, and a little bit more, so we can get a little bit more appreciation for our Lord's loving care for all of us. Set your way before us, Jesus. May we make a difference in this world for your glory and purpose. With all our love. Amen. And so be it. All right, so
be it.
And so be it. So guys, we are on a daylight saving time here in US, but just so the folks remember, Europe is going to be in a couple weeks from now. That's just a reminder for Tatiani. This morning she was asking me exactly what we study here. I just put some slides so we can briefly go over some of them, because evidently there will be other folks that probably may not be so used to the type of work that we do here. So what we do, we do study Allan Kardec's books. We started with the Spirits book. We have read and studied the book number 3 with the moral laws, and now we are studying and working on the book number 1 that talks about the first causes. And we use Kardecpedia as a common basis, but you know, we follow the same format. There is a question, we discuss the question, and then we discuss the answer and check on the, sorry, my dog, she's and then we discuss the answers and what we think about it. And we also do study the other books, and one of them that we are studying right now is the books from this series from André Luiz, the Spiritual Realm series. We are the next one that we will study is The Workers of the Life Eternal. And that's the agenda that we have today. Today we have Tachi with us today, folks. Next week's gonna be, we'll be back to the Spirits book. And then Leda, today, Tachi will be talking about a little bit about this book from Chico Xavier. I don't think there is a translation about this book, but the translation is more like I'm back or I returned. But Tatiana will briefly talk about it today, and then Leda, she will dive a little bit more in details, covering something that, you know, we think is also important for us in our studies as well. April the 6th, there is no meeting because some of us will be traveling. Yay! I'm so glad. We are going to this conference in Florida. April the 13th is going to be the time for Dr. Guilherme Silva to be talking to us. And this date is not confirmed yet. It's going to be in April. I just do not know exactly whether or not he can make it for the 13th. But we'll talk about this later. And then we'll continue to do our studies on the Spiritist book and the André Luiz series. Yeah, so April the 6th and 7th, there will be this seminar in Florida. And some of us will be here, we'll be there. Divaldo Franco is a medium, very famous medium in Brazil, and he will be there. It's gonna be a very, very, I'm looking forward. It's gonna be a great opportunity for all of us. And okay, that's Dr. Guilherme. We don't need to listen to him, but as usual, I always bring some food for thoughts. And I got this video last night, and I thought it was so neat because it does hook up, it does flange up with Tatiana will bring for us today. So I'm not gonna say anything. Evidently, the words she will be mentioning, the names, we call it different, but I ask you to pay attention to the core of this message because it does flange up very well with what Tatiana will be talking to us, okay?
That glove cannot do anything. It cannot write, it cannot cook, it cannot do anything. But when my hand is in the glove, it can write, it can cook, it can do many things. You say, no, that's not the glove, that's the hand in the glove. You are right. You and I cannot do anything. We read it in John 15. Without me, you can do nothing. Mm-hmm. But with the Lord, you can do many things. What this hand, a glove can do, this hand can do, that is tremendous. What the Holy Spirit No, what you can do when the Holy Spirit fills you, that is enormous. Yes, you.
Yes.
Hmm.
Right. So, guys, today we have Tatiani. So we're talking about sparkling our inner light. And I told you many times, she's my friend. We met in this Spiritist Center, Sunrise Spiritist Center. Is a very long name for me. We just call Sunrise, but it's Sunrise Spiritist Society of Texas. And like me, Tatiani, she is the one of the volunteers. She does a wonderful job presenting some of her studies to us. She is a physical therapist and exercise science specialist. She is she knows Spiritism for a long, long time. Since she was born, and even before that, when her mother was pregnant of her, and she is the daughter of Mr. Sebastian, or Mr. Sebastian, if you want to translate his name. I don't like translating people's name. Mr. Sebastian, she is a wonderful person, and he is a wonderful person. He passed all his knowledge to Tachi, and I'm gonna tell this. I remember the very first time that I met Tachi's father. He was visiting our center, and I was sitting in front, and Tatiani and her father, they were sitting in the back. I didn't see them coming. I just saw that when we were about to start, somebody asked Mr. Sebastian to say the opening prayer. And I had my eyes closed when all of a sudden I heard this voice of tender. That's his voice was filling the whole space, the whole room, and he was not even trying to speak loud. He was just his normal. That's he's that strong person, tall guy, and very, very nice person. And I remember I had to turn my back and look at that person. And then I saw Tachi sitting beside him and said, oh, how lucky she is, to have somebody like him to pass, to learn from. It was, I believe she does appreciate the privilege. But that's Tatiani, and I'm looking forward to what she's going to talk to us today. And Tatiani, I will just turn over to you. I will make you the host so you can share the slides, okay?
Okay, thank you, Anna. First, I just want to say thank you so much for being here, for the invitation. I know Anna, like she shared, we know from the center, Anna has a lot of knowledge too. I'm always having the opportunity to be learning from her, and it's a great community. When she shared about this work, she has been sharing about this work for a while, and so when she invited me and said, absolutely, let's do it. So, and I like always to share that when we share a type of study like this, I feel like it's more actually, I'm the first one listening or studying. That's actually more for me actually to look how I can improve and how we can share things. So I'm going to share my screen. If I'm speaking too fast, please just let me know. And I'm going to share my screen, and hopefully we pray that this Benedict Spirit can give us the intuition to truly share the message that we want to do today. Okay? And if you do have any questions as well, that's the wrong one. Can you see my screen?
Yes, you can. Do you want
Okay,
to put
great.
in a presentation mode? Yeah, okay. There you go.
Okay, very good. So I don't see you, but I'm Zoom kind of different than Google Meet, I guess. But if you raise your hands or something, I'm sure Anna can
We
kind of
can,
address.
Yeah, we see the notes.
Oh, okay. No. Hold on a
So
second.
if you move
Okay.
yeah.
There we go. Hold on a
Yeah,
second.
there you go. Yes.
Let me see one thing here, Anna. I'm gonna let me exit. Sorry. That's not the one that I want. Oh, it did pass. I apologize, y'all. Let me see here. That's not it. I'm gonna stop sharing for a second. And let me see. Just 1 second, okay? That's not the one. It's not going back. Okay, let's get the copy. Okay, now I have the right one. And slideshow. Okay, now I think I got it. Share. Okay. And
I see Louis' arms.
okay, are we good now?
Yes, excellent now.
Wonderful. Okay, so we're gonna talk about sparking your inner light. I feel like this is a topic that sometimes we look for ways how can we evolve ourselves? How can we do better every single day on every opportunity we have? So that being said, I looked up some of the books of Divaldo and Joana de Angelis, which Divaldo, like Anna already mentioned, he's a medium in Brazil. And I was able to actually put some very good thoughts and some very good material together, so it can help us have as tools, so we can start seeking and actually make your inner light sparkle more. Okay. All right. So I'm going to start sharing this story. Frederico Figner, he was actually Czechoslovakian who moved to the United States when he was about 15 years old. And when he got here, he financially didn't have any money, but he had very good spiritual entrepreneurship. So he wants to grow. And the year he was here, he actually was the year that Thomas Edison launched the turntable, which is the one that play music back in the days. And some of you might know this story about Thomas better than I do. But he got excited about it, and he decided to buy one of those. And a few years later, he actually moved to Brazil. To be more exact, he went to Belém do Pará. And he started to show this device that he had it. And a lot of singers and a lot of artists was very curious about what it was about, especially because until then, for the music in Brazil, the only way you could listen to music was only live events. With this device that he brought he was actually, the singers are able to record it and actually play at any time, and actually even start to sell their records. So he stayed in Belém do Pará for almost 1 year, and then he decided to move to Rio de Janeiro. And it was the year where Emil Berliner actually had made a sophisticated device of the turntable. It was, instead of having just the turntable, this one was more sophisticated. He had that lever, and he felt it was a great opportunity for him to actually even grow a business and succeed in Brazil. And that's exactly what he did. He created the Edison's Home, which was one recording agency, and he had singers coming and recording, and he was able to expand and grow this business. And I talk a little bit about who he was when he was incarnated, because it seems very much like us, right? Even like, especially we immigrants, or we feel like we come to a different land, we try to grow financially. And he did the same thing by going to Brazil. When he gets in Brazil, he introduced to Spiritism, and he really start to represent and lead the Spiritism doctrine in Brazil. So he was the vice president of the Spiritism Federation, Brazilian Federation, He was the chief officer, financial chief officer of the Brazilian Spirit Federation as well. He was writing on the newspaper. It was called Correio da Manhã, which translated is Morning Post Office. He was very active in every single opportunity that was given to him there. And on his free time, he would be on needing areas where people need food, water, prayers, doing the good deed, everything that he could collaborate, truly trying to be and follow the steps of Jesus. He was doing. He was trying truly to make that light of his sparkling, do the best that he could and be the best human being that he could. So he dedicates his life, pretty much most of his life, like I said, through his family, spiritism, and helping people. And while he was working in the spiritual um, movement, he always would mention to his friends that's like, when permitted, when I disincarnate, when I pass away, I'll if they allow me, I would like to write it back and kind of tell people what my experience is about. How was this process for me? So fast forward, he disincarnate, and he was so blessed. One of his daughters was already disincarnated, and he had the chance and opportunity to have his daughter through this whole process of passing and to the other side. And so and I here I'm going to share a little bit of the book. I'm not going to share much of the book because like it looks like Anna did so great because she's sharing someone going to share a little bit more, and I hope this will actually instigate you to read the book later on. Um, but in the beginning of the book, it shares a very important fact that actually makes us reflect, and that's why we're bringing this story to everybody here today. Um, so when it was the process of disincarnate, where he was already knowing his body just as a spirit, and his daughter helped him to the whole process. They're all waiting because that day there were more spirits actually coming all together as a colony, because they were going to go to these spiritual colonies. So he's there. Of course, he understanding for all the work he did, all the study he did, he understood what was going on with him. And then he started observing around him. A lot of spirits were coming. There was this big team of elevated spirits helping with this transition. One of them was Dr. Bezerra de Menezes, which was as well a very well-known spiritist in Brazil, who did so much to the Brazilian community, and especially Rio de Janeiro. And so as he's there waiting, he started observing more spirits coming. Some of them actually not understanding what was happening. Some of them like pale and moving more mechanically, not very sure what's going on. And he started asking questions to his daughter. Of course, everything through thoughts. And she asking Dad, let's just elevate your thoughts. Let's just pray. This is a very important moment. We need to save our energy. So he's getting a little bit impatient, and then they're still waiting for more spirits to come so that everybody could depart together. Um, one of the last spirits to come was this very angelical looking, bright smile, and this light on her chest. It was just sparkling like nothing he has ever had seen. So right there in that moment, he start asking himself, well, where's everybody lights and where is my light? And his daughter once again look at him and ask him, Dad, this is not the moment. Let's just let's just continue our journey. Let's save your energy and just elevate your thoughts. We need it. And the book, it's very nice. It detail every single step, what they go through until they get to that spiritual colony. So I truly advise you. I know that we don't have English, but hopefully someone might be creating a translate. But you have someone maybe can like Anna's going to bring to share more of about the book. But that's the process that happened to him. And now we're going to continue talking the reflection about this study about the sparkling inner light, because the main purpose here today is that, like, we're all trying, we're all working, we're all doing the good things, we are studying. And are we going to have, how's going to be our light when we get on the other side? How is it? How's our light? Okay. All right. Everybody following? Everybody okay with me here until so far?
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am.
All right. Awesome.
Very nice, Tatiana.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Um, and then just going back still to the previous slide, we all know in our lives someone that we don't see their lights, but the way they act, the way they do things. Like, I'm sure if you stop for a second and think about your life, the people in your life or family, there's always someone that it seems to be more elevated, more, their light sparkling a little bit more. Like when I stop thinking about my family or people around me, I think about my grandmother. I don't know, something about grandmas that they have this special love, this special touch that when I was studying this, I actually thought about her a lot. Okay, so coming back to this, before diving into it, it's important for us to really understand something that actually gives us more peace and some type of comforting, because spiritism, it brings one of the pillars of spiritism is it brings the principle of immortality of the soul. We know that it's the third revelation, the element that we are um, immortal souls, that we're in evolving process. So we live nowadays, sometimes we get in a routine that the way we're living, it doesn't look like that we understand that at any time we might not be here. Every single day we live our lives like, oh, I don't even know if I'm truly, you should think, do I know if I'm going to be here tomorrow or next morning? We don't know, but we society actually too impose these things that we don't talk about it. A lot of people don't want to talk about death, or don't want to talk about anything that would cause too much pain. I have at my job, actually, at my work environment, I have a coworker specifically, when you start talking about death or anything, she's like, "Oh, please, I cannot even think about it. If my grandpa passed away, her grandpa is 93. Here I'm thinking in my head, oh, I don't even think about it," which I empathize and understand. But she says she doesn't want to talk about it. She doesn't want to think about it. And I feel like if you talk more openly about it, probably we would have a better transition when you go through these phases of our lives, because everybody's going to go, right? We did not got here at the same time. My mom was here before me. Her mom was before her. Grandmom was before her, and so on. And we're not going to leave at the same time. That's for sure. So we have this thing that we just live our lives every single day. We get in a habit, go days in, day out, of like just doing things like there's no end. And that can bring a lot of suffering for us, especially when we don't have the awareness, even though intellectually we understand the reincarnation, we know the incarnation, we know we're not going to be here forever. But do we truly live like that? Do we truly live that we are going to not be here? We have the experience every single day with the spiritual world. We have, for example, we go to sleep. We have the interaction in the spiritual world. Sometimes we don't remember. It's a dream. Or even sometimes you're here, you're going to study something, you think about something, and you open the gospel according to Spiritism, and it matches exactly what your thoughts are. Or you have a thought and you want to talk to someone, but you have this strong intuition. You can tell, like, it's not my thought. It's like someone telling you, hey, you know what? Just hold off. Don't talk to the person right now. So it's constantly that spiritual approaching our lives and interaction, but we forget, or we just put on the side, and we don't really live our life like we have the incarnation, right? I had circumstance the other day too. I work in a hospital, and I had this mom, and she was desperate. I understand her son got a diagnosis of cancer, And I didn't get into it much, but I was just listening to her talking, and then she's like, "Why him? Why not me? I wish it was me." Which, as being a mom, I understand. I try to put myself on her shoes. But even on those situations, if you understand that this life, that's what he's going through. The past life, we don't know what he went through or what she did went through. Why now in this life they are going through this situation? So it alleviates. It gave us a sense of it changed our perspective. It changed how we see our everyday lives. Okay, everybody with me, everybody follow me.
Yes, ma'am.
Awesome. And we become desensitized. We truly do. If you were just in and out, you go to work, get up, go to work, do what you need to do, cook, come back, clean, go to bed. It just, we don't have the time to sit down and think about that we're beyond your physical body. All right. So just a little bit here, and Anna, I love that little video you shared because it's awesome. It's exactly what matches exactly what are we talking about here. So Jesus said, "I am the light of the world. He who follows me should not walk in darkness, but have the light of life." John chapter 8, verse 12. So it's so comforting to know that we do have a guide, and it's right there. He expressed, who he who follows me should not walk in the darkness. So it's bright. Spiritism, especially, it brings Jesus not like crucified on the cross, but actually bring his everyday, especially when he was here, right? He's still spiritually speaking, but physically, when he was incarnated here, all the things he has done, all the example he has done, and that gives us a sense of comforting and knowing that we do have a guide. We do have, we're not in the darkness, right? So, but unfortunately, still, because we still incarnated spirits, evolving spirits, we might read the gospel, we might do the gospel at home, we might study. I don't know how many groups we belong. We understand intellectually, we do understand, but we need to start actually differentiating that. Intellectually understand is one thing, but Jesus and his teachings, we need to feel, we need to meditate on it. We really need to try to live the best we can. Um, because as he was just saying here, right? I am the light of the world. So it's a safe path. It's secure. There's no doubts. Okay. We see in the literature, I see you all are all studying André Luiz and his books and stuff. And there's so many stories of spirits that, for centuries or for years and years, trying to evolve, make their inner light sparkle, make them evolve in a process that truly, in its pure essence, to truly be and follow the steps of Jesus. So it's more like we are educated, but we need to start asking ourselves, are we living it? Are we feeling it? Are we meditating on it? Okay. And Jesus comes as roles as a spiritual light, and that's very comforting. So we know we're in a safe path when we are truly following his steps. Okay, so this book is called Living Spring. It's a very good book. It has four of them. Emmanuel brings four of them, and we used to use. I mean, I have over here somewhere over here to do my gospel at home every on Sundays. But since I was little, that's where I usually use it, rotate them to do evangel at home, the gospel at home. And I love it because it's very precise, clean, and touch you in your heart. I don't know how Emmanuel does that with Chico, but he has the power of doing that. And I chose this specific one with the title Educate because it talks about how can we work, educate ourselves in certain way that we are truly, we know that, well, I know if I continue educating this, I'm getting closer to get that light to shine. I'm getting closer to get my inner light to shine. And because that's at the end of the day, that's what we're looking for. That's what we're seeking for, right? So and there is this, I think on Kindle, Amazon Kindle, I believe it's like 99 cents to 199. And I love Kindle. You can find anything there. So just sharing. So he brings to us, Emmanuel, he says with the Korean Paul, he gets this quote from Paul. Don't you know that you yourselves are God's temple and that God's spirit dwells in your midst? So dwells means lives and midst inside. So don't you know that you yourselves are God's temple and that God's spirits um, lives inside of you? Paul, 1 Corinthians chapter 3, versicle 16. And again, right, it's empowering us. And I love all this what Emmanuel brings to us because it's truly empowering us and showing us that we have the will. We need to have the will, but we have what we need inside of us. Um, we have a higher power, a secret higher power within us. And that's actually empower us and to continue to seek, to continue to do it. It's just a matter of time and a matter of our willingness to do it. Right. Also, it talks a little bit about how we should be have clear, concise in your mind that we are God's temples, but not on the meaning only spiritually. Because if you understand God's temple meaning that you are have the potential that God is on us, I need to see my neighbor the same way too. So we all have potential to evolve together. We all have potential that maybe my neighbor is doing something I don't like it. When I say my neighbor, I mean my next brother or sister. But if I understand and if I am patient enough that I know that person is as well on the path of evolving, that person as well, it's a God's temple. We're all gonna get there at some point. Okay. All right. Okay. So and then Emmanuel brings also the spirit carries with it the gene of divinity. I love this so much. God is with us as much as we are in God. I think that's so powerful. If from all this study we're doing here today, if you can just remember this, you can take home just this. I think that can change so much in perspective of our lives because we start to understand that no matter who we are, no matter where we are in your journey, um, God is with us, and as much as we are in God, we um, we have we face our challenges. We have like everybody else on planet Earth right now. I know is going through something. We all are to our challenges, to our difficulties, and overcoming them. But to know that, and maybe how many times we probably have read this, but to hit home, like we say, the meaning that's like, well, you know what? I carry the gene of divinity on me. I am God's creation. God is on me as much as I am in God. It's very comforting and give you once again that perspective of I'm capable of doing. I'm capable one day to get there where I want to be. I want my light to shine. Okay. And also it kind of compels us to like I said, to care not just about our spiritual, like I said, but physically, mentally, because we are God's temple and He is on us as much as we are in God. Okay. Any questions so far? Are we good? Are we following everything?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
Tatiana. Jesus
Okay.
said to us to be careful that our light is not dark, all right? And I think that when he told about it, he is referring about the knowledge only, without love. That's right?
Yes, I believe so. Yes. Yes, I believe so. Yes, I believe so. And we're gonna talk about a little bit more about the love and I think it goes back to what we were saying in the beginning. If you start thinking about Jesus, Jesus was pure love. Every single thing, every step that he did was love. He knew he was going to be betrayed. He didn't desperate. He didn't. He kept living. He shared with the disciples 2 or 3 times. Like the studies show that I think he said more than 3 times, but nobody believed him. He knew he was going to be betrayed. He knew he was going to be crucified. He knew everything was going to be happen to him. But still, every single step of the way is all about love. Very good. Very good. Thank you for bringing that up. All about love. Okay. So going back here, when we understand this again to my neighbor, it compels us to think that my neighbor too, once again, it is going, because I feel like, at least myself, just sharing, my one of the most challenges that I have usually is the human being, some of them, not all, comprehending, put myself in their shoes. Why are they doing that? It must have a reason why someone is doing that. But when you understand, like, hey, love again, going the same path, maybe don't understand yet, maybe I'm behind, I'm not understanding where that person is, give us a sense of calm, and give us a sense of understanding and being compassion. Okay. All right, then he continues, for the divine light to stand out from the human darkness, the educational process of life must work on us on the rough path of the millennium. So we know that we're not going to do this study here today, go sleep. Tomorrow we're all elevated spirit, angelical spirits. We're in a different world. We're like out of here. Doing all the good. No, we know that's going to take time. We know it's an educational process. I like how Emmanuel put it here. It is educating your thoughts. It is educating your actions. It's educating our mouth or tongue. What do we say? Right? And it says here, on the rough path of the millennium. Just he already says out loud, rough path. It's not an easy path, right? Okay. And then here, he shares, just the cultivated brain can produce enlightened forms of thoughts. So when you think about the word cultivated, it means it's something. When we cultivate something, it usually takes time, right? I'm making my sourdough fermentation bread, it's a 2-day process. Yes, they started 7 days before, right? I'm cultivating, I'm feeding to that. So we can actually have a result. It's the same thing for our brain. In order for us to produce these enlightened forms of thoughts, we have to transform little by little. There's the book of Domínios da Mediunidade, what would be the translation, Anna? I'm not sure. I don't think we have the translation.
Mediumship domain, something like
Okay.
this.
Okay, thank you. And then Joanna, she comes and she says, or thoughts generate actions, and or actions generates thoughts in other people. So basically, what I do is going to generate thoughts in other people, because I think, I act, someone sees it, think, and they act. So how important it is how I'm behavior around it. Like for the moms, I think, I'm not sure if we have moms or grandmothers or grandfathers, but I see it when I come home. For some reason, I'm heated up or irritated. I don't even have the perception. I'm not even aware of myself. If I come in through the door like a rocket, my whole house is a rocket. Everybody's just, you know. But if I come home collected, calm, I feel everybody's collected, calm. It doesn't matter how shaky things are. I feel like everybody's the same thing. I create an effect on them. So, and the same thing for your thoughts. When we cultivate their brain, we educate their thoughts or actions, we're going to promote a different reaction. And sometimes some people might not meet you where you are, and that's okay. But you yourself, you know, if your thoughts were not they need to be, we need to educate ourselves. I was reading an article, a neuroscience article, actually saying that when your thought is produced, it's actually the energy or the thought that got at you already got your body, and it's just picking up, and then you produce the thought. Research has been showing that. So I was just thinking, right?
Right?
Yeah, yeah. So I'll put
Just a sec.
Just a sec.
Gileni, could you please
Elena, could you please
mute your phone?
mute your phone?
Okay, there you go.
okay. I thought there was someone saying something for me, but where was I? So in order to cultivate, I was saying about the research that I was reading, that it shows when a thought gets to you, or when you have a thought, which we're going to talk about, how does a thought or a prayer get to someone. The spiritual books explain that very, very good in chapter 28. It's just, imagine we're all the creatures incarnated, we are emerged on this fluid, like surround us, and its own will make to travel. It's just like sound in air, but it's with the sound in air, it's limited by the vibration is limited by the air. But when it's in this universal fluid that we are all immersed in, it can go to infinity. That's why when we pray, our prayers will get, if you know, permitted to where of course there's the whole system. If you have not read the chapter 28, it's very cool how they explain how the prayers get to designate places and how it works, and, you know, especially when you're praying to God or to people. But that's why sometimes I'm thinking about a friend and I look it up on my phone, there's a text message. Or sometimes I'm thinking about my dad, and something pops up and he calls up like, hey, that's what's going on. I'm doing this. So
Gotcha. It's like there is this ripple effect, right? So that it goes,
right.
it starts with you and then it goes all to the infinity and comes back to you. And I mean, when you think that you are not just an incarnated body, but you are spiritual, you are a spirit, then that brings a whole different perspective, right?
Right, Anna. Very good. Thank you for sharing that. Absolutely. Absolutely. So this universal fluid is just like it's a vehicle of the thought. That's how the thoughts and the prayers get to us. Very good. Thank you. And then becomes and he shared a little bit more. He says solely spiritual greatness can generate balanced words, sublime verbs, and a comforting voice. So it doesn't matter how much you read or how much, I mean, don't take me wrong, I think it's great if you are studying. That's what I see. At least I'm studying. I'm not doing something else. I'm not talking bad about anybody else. But in order to get that spiritual greatness that I think we all seek, in those words and the verbs and comforting voice, we truly have to work our inner light. The spirit book, the question 625, Kardec asks the spirits, what's the most perfect type that God has offered to human beings as their guide and model? Anybody knows?
Jesus.
No?
For us,
Yeah.
it's Jesus.
Yes, Jesus. So Jesus is the highest moral perfection that human beings may attain to on earth. And we talk about this a little bit all the way in the beginning. It's a solid, there's no doubt. If you could at least just think about how he act, that brings us comfort and it makes you think about, well, what Jesus would do on this situation. This past week, it's very interesting. Anna was sharing about her experience before the study today, and that's exactly what happened, right? And then um, as I'm studying for the study, I'm studying, for the center and stuff. It's interesting how things become super hard. Like it was super challenging at work, challenging here, challenging there, and then on Tuesday, was it Tuesday or Monday? I get up super early in the morning to get food ready, and I get super early at work too, 6 o'clock. So I'm up at 4, and I had this feeling, just a turbulence on my chest, and then I stopped for a second in my kitchen, and I said, "What Jesus would do in my situation?" Because I have been dealing with some challenges at work. And once I stopped and thought about it, it's like I had a relief on my chest. And of course, we want to rationalize, which we, as a human. And then I start putting the dots together, and I said, "That's it. That's why I'm studying all of this. That's why. So let me apply it. Because if I don't have the challenging, how I'm going to apply it? When everything is good, I'm not going to apply it. At least I try to make my own reasoning behind it, and that makes me feel better, and that makes me uh, work to have the spiritual greatness that I'm seeking for." Okay. So, and then he says, "Let us interpret pain and work as heavenly artists of our spiritual improvement." That's a tough one. I get it. Like I was saying, I'm standing in my kitchen floor in the kitchen at 4 o'clock in the morning. Um, it's uncomfortable. Being in pain is uncomfortable. Moral pain is uncomfortable. Physical pain is uncomfortable. And most of the times we want to push it. We want to avoid it. And what we see, we even like with Jesus, think about him. He lets the pain do its work. When we just save our energy instead of pushing, I don't want to think about it, I don't want to deal with it, but sit and be still and let the pain work, do its work. Usually we understand more why we're going through that later on. Usually it's calmer. Usually, once again, we think about reincarnation. You must have a reason why I'm going through this. Of course, we have the free will. We make our choices. Um, and most of the consequences we have on this life right now, it's the majority that we go through the difficulties and challenges because of decisions we actually made on this life. But there are a lot of them that too from past lives that we've been through. So when we truly care in the back of our mind, hey, you know what? There's a reason why I'm going through this, and it's not easy. I know it's not easy. We talk like it would be easy breezy, but I know it's not. But when we if you interpret the pain and work as a having arts over spiritual improvement, that's it. But it's better, it's easier said than done. But it's good to kind of understand that as well. Okay, are we good? Okay. So, and then that's the Gospel according to Spiritism, chapter 3. There's something very, very important that I think it's important to share. There's a chapter that's called "There Are Many Dwellings in My Father's House." And then on item 11, the Spirit says, it says, "You need evil in your planet. You need evil in order to sense the good. You need sickness to sense the health. Evolved worlds, such a thing doesn't exist." So once again, Jesus went through so many challenges that and is still shining until today. Sometimes I reflect and think, can you imagine living the time of Jesus? He's trying to do all of this work he did with so much love, so much care. and he still don't grasp who he was. He still not understand who he was, despite of his lightness, despite of his what he is in the world today. Um, and he beautifully, magically, not magic, I guess, because an evolved spirit like Jesus, a perfect spirit, um, we'll go through things like that, but we still are not there yet. But it's important for us to understand that we are incarnated, we are immortal souls that we're seeking for involvement in. Eventually, we're going to get there. You're going to be better spirits, involved spirits. And then he continues, educate and you transform the irritational age into intelligence, intelligence into humanity, and humanity into angelhood. Educate and you will build the paradise on earth. If we know that the Lord dwells in us, let us perfect our lives to manifest him. Um, so we understand, and I think it's clear that nobody else can do the work for us. It is something that we do ourselves. We have to put the work on ourselves. And we understand that if we do educate our thoughts or actions or behaviors, we will get to a point that humanity will be transformed in angelhood. I think it's important for us to understand we do have a big responsibility right now, wherever we are, and to be light, to be comforting, to be love where you are. It's one of the most important things in our lives right now. And to carry that, the responsibility that I have to change, of course, for myself, but how can I impact other people's lives? It's something that we should always carry with us as well. And I love when he says here, let us perfect our lives to manifest him. Exactly. And that's what we want. We want our lives to manifest God in us, because God is in us as much as we are in God. And there was Emmanuel. And just one thing here that I want to share too. Sometimes we don't want to do something, or maybe volunteer for a study, or volunteer at kids school, or do some good deed in a certain way, because we think, well, but does it so well, or oh well, you know what, I don't think so. I don't think I'll be good at doing this, whatever it is, from a little thing to a big thing, a prayer and open up a study, whatever it is. But we need to keep on back of our minds that we're not perfect. And the only perfection that there is exists, it's God. And there's a reason why we're here, because we need to seek this. We're never going to be perfect like God. We'll be spirits, evolved spirits. But so to kind of put on the side and help more, volunteer more, love more, and be able to truly make your inner light to shine. Okay. And here, just almost finalized, I want to make sure I'm on time. Um, I put some reference for even for I know there's one or two there are translated. I think Jesus e Atualidade, we do have that on the right upper corner. It's translated in English. I don't think the other three are. But how do you spark your inner light? For some are prayers, some are volunteer work. For me, definitely, I think in it, like Jesus as well, you got to do the work. There is no way you could, if you don't know yourself, how are you going to be able to even know how can you evolve, right? Meditation, grounding yourself, right? It can be my meditation sometimes is sitting on my back porch and just sitting there, maybe with a cup of coffee and just sitting there. Some people like to listen to something, some people like to just watch nature, right? Uplifting reading. Looks like you guys are doing an awesome with some great resource with these studies, the series of Andrea Luiz. Even affirmations. I'm a creature of God. I'm capable of loving. I'm capable of forgiving. like the same way we're talking about the thoughts, how it travels in the prayers, it spreads to the universe because we are in this universal fluid, right? And I think that's all I have. Oh, this is not for us. I think that's all I have. I hope the message was clear enough, and I hope everybody could capture or just grasp some of the study that we want to share here today. Um, and you know, and everybody, thank you so much for your time here today. It's been great. It's so good to have people in common that meet in a Saturday afternoon to talk about evolving, growing. What can I do? It's awesome. So thank you so much, Anna, and please, I'm gonna pass back to you. Okay? Can hear you.
I am on mute. Sorry. Thank you so much. It was a very, very nice presentation. It is my second time, but I truly enjoyed. Although we say, you know, what we were discussing, or you were telling us, is not really like rocket science, but sometimes it's so hard for us to understand and live that, right? So when we were you were talking to us, I was thinking to myself over here, as an engineer, I recalled the process where we forge the stainless steel, and I could not help but think about technical stuff. And as an engineer, I know what it takes for the stainless steel to be the strong material as it is. And we just take the carbon steel, and the problem with the carbon steel, it has some weakness because it does have it brings some sulfur in the structure. So as we expose that material to very high temperature, to very high pressures, etc., yes, it is like a suffering process for us, but it is exactly that process that displace the sulfur atoms, and then that makes the iron to rearrange and brings this structure so strong as we see in the stainless steel. So it is exactly like us as we go through those challenges. It is like displacing the shadows out of our heart, right? So bringing some light to our heart. So I do have a question. I do not know if somebody else will have a question, but there is a question over here. So in your opinion, what is the best methodology, or the best way, the best strategy for us to continue to be aware and making sure that we are on track as we do this process of improving and, you know, self-improving and those kind of things?
So, and I truly believe that it's being aware who you are. Because if you know that you're selfish, if you know that your ego is too big, so you know when your ego start growing or whatever it is, your thoughts, you need to start having the awareness. Why am I behaving this way? And then it might take time, but why am I behaving? Why I'm so irritated right now? And dig deep inside and try to ask you questions. But why I'm like this? Well, but why I'm like this? So I believe that if you know who you are, which nobody truly, it's funny how I don't know how we get here, but we get so confused, we got so lost in other people's life. We might actually be able to point it out fingers and say, oh, so is selfish, so is so proud. But then when you turn it into us and do that inner work and start seeing what works for you. So, journaling, like, to be honest, I like journaling. Do I have the time to do journaling all the time? I do not. But I like to do it and look it back. I
Mhm.
like to meditate. Sometimes my meditation is 2, 3 minutes, but like it grounds me. It gives me that awareness.
Yep. Agree.
Uh, and everybody else is so different. Like there's no recipe, but I'm sure we know we're deep inside. We kind of have those little flash. Well, I'm behaving like that because I'm too proud. I gotta get my ego lower, you know.
Mhm.
But I think it's just asking questions about your behaviors and why you're behaving. Sir, there's certain things that we do we shouldn't be responding that way, and we do. So ask yourselves why am I reacting like that?
Thank you. So in your presentation, you mentioned at some point that we do have all the skills, we do have everything and all the potential to keep that inner light, sparkling or, getting even brighter. So why do you think it's so difficult for us to keep that going, to keep
I
that
think
process improving?
I think because we're still imperfect spirits, so it's important for us to be patient with ourselves as well. It's very important for us to be patient because
Self-forgiving, yeah.
yes,
Self-forgiveness, yeah.
very good, very good. That's a perfect. I think that's a perfect word, Anna, because we think that things are gonna change, like fast, but it's just giving yourself that grace. You know what? I react that way, but I'm gonna do my best. I'm aware I should not be talking like that. What can I do? And continue to work. We are imperfect spirits. I think no, we know this. And bottom line, in knowing yourself and giving yourself some grace and self forgiveness every time. Be patient to yourself.
Mhm. Yeah. Thank you, Tati. Thank you
You're
so
welcome.
much. Okay, so Leda, please.
Yeah, I think when you talk about pride, Tatiani, you mentioned something that Frederick Figner, he has learned because he thought he had everything figured out. And when he got there at the other side, he realized that, well, things are not the way that I thought they were. And then he had to listen to the spirits that he used to talk to.
Dr.
He was the one teaching the spirits, and he thought that his job was just to teach. But as we teach, we have to learn as well, right? We have to listen. We have to comprehend and show the example. So I believe he only started glowing when he started being humble, right?
Mhm. Yeah, very good. Yes, and I think it is exactly what it is. I bring this book because he was, if you think about it, he has all the check marks, right? He had all the check marks. He was actually doctoring the spirits, like when the mediunic study. He had everything figured out technically,
Mhm.
but it turns out when he's on the other side, he did, and he had all the resources right there. That's why it kind of should intellectually. I feel like there are a lot of us out there still, even myself too. We grasp it, we read, we memorize the words, the questions and stuff, but are we living it? Are we truly living it? The studies, right?
Yeah,
The teaching.
very
Thank
nice.
you.
Thank you, Leda. So, folks, any other question or comment
Ana,
to touch it? Yes,
Maria.
Maria.
Oh, yes, thank you very much. I'm without camera and video, sorry. But I want to ask to Tatiana, and first
Tatiani.
I want to thank you, Tatiana, for the wonderful things. But I want to share and ask one thing. Jesus said that we will know the truth and it will set you free. I think the main truth we need to become aware of is about ourselves, lovingly accepting who he really are and not who we would be like to be. The image I show to the outside world. I want to ask about what process of self-knowledge can we seek without depending on other people?
Very good question. Thank you, Maria. And I think that's what it is because just taking back a little bit, right? When you talk about the book Voltaire, we look, we seek for so much knowledge outside, and the answer, like you said, is know the truth. The truth set you free. I heard this in the podcast this week. One of this when I drive, I heard that, I think it was, I don't know who was, but I heard that and I thought, man, that's so good. Um, so it's the same thing. We think we are seeking in, of course, it's important for us to learn because I don't know. I actually, if I don't have the understanding of few things that I don't have any clue, especially like there's so much in spiritism that I still don't know a lot. There is a lot. I would say I'm maybe 1-2%. But I truly believe, my personal opinion, the way for you to help yourself is knowing yourself. Like you said, like Jesus said, right? Know the truth. The truth will set you free. It's the true yourself. You are your true. Who are you truly? Who are you showing up? Like who are you showing up every single day? Why do you show up every day, single day like that? So truly looking to yourself and ask questions. And then I myself, when I read, there's some things that hit home. There's some uplifting books that hit home for me, meaning it's like your thoughts meet exactly where it needs to be with the lesson. There, I don't know if you ever have, I'm sure you have. There's sometimes you listen to things or you read a book, it's like it connects where your thoughts are because you're asking yourself questions. How can I get better at this? How can I do that better at this? And now, unfortunately, yet we're not perfect world. We're not in the perfect world. So having the example of Jesus when we're lost, because let's be honest, there's too much stuff out there. But if we have a clear path that we know, and it's not complicating as far as talking, I know it's complicating acting, but we know we should be loving one another. Love yourselves first, love your neighbor. Those simple things, we're starting to dig inside of us like, well, why I'm irritated, why I cannot respect at least that this person who's talking to me like this, right there. So I truly am, personally speaking now, in gospel, in the evangel and the spirituals bring to us to, if we do follow the teachings of Jesus, if you do follow his actions, it's a clear path. And then sometimes we might not even understand yet, we don't have that awareness why I'm acting like that, why I'm doing this. But if you start paying more attention to your inner self, who you are, things will change. Jesus had, it was 100% communion with God all the time. So he knew who he was. There was no doubt. We still ask ourselves who we are.
That's excellent. Thank you, Tati. We passed the hour a little bit, but it was worth it because, wonderful discussions. And thank you so much for being available and coming and joining us today. We certainly appreciate that, and it's always good to listen to somebody that has a different perspective. I really love what Giles put it over here, in the chat. He was saying, if I know it all, how can I supposed to be learning? I cannot learn anything new. So thank you so much for sharing with us your thoughts, your learnings, and I hope you can join us someday in the future with other topics. And folks, thank you so much for joining today. So next Saturday, then we'll be back with the Spirits book, okay? Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Ana. Obrigada.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
folks. Have a good
Thank you,
Have a
one.
Tatiana.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. You guys are so kind. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.